Hello, welcome to BBC Newsline. I'm Declan Harvey and these are the headlines. A murder investigation is underway this evening in Portadown following the death of a man in the town last night.
This is obviously a tragedy. This has unnerved a lot of people here this morning. It's come as a shock. It's completely out of character.
A man appears in court charged with the murder of Amy Doherty in Londonderry as the city prepares to hold a vigil shortly in her memory. Parents celebrate a U-turn by officials, which means special needs summer schemes will go ahead.
Tremendous relief, I think, for so many parents who were looking to face a summer of difficulty. So I think relief is the word.
More than 230 children here have been referred to health trusts in the past 2 years for displaying harmful sexualised behaviour.
It's World Cup misery for Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. We'll have all the reaction to last night's playoff defeats.
And it's been a mixed day of sunshine and scattered showers. Can we expect the same tomorrow and over the weekend? I'll have the details shortly.
It's Friday, the 27th of March. Detectives have started a murder investigation after the death of a man in his 40s in Portadown. Police were called to a house at Ranfurly Road last night. Our reporter Ida Dungan has been to the scene.
Investigating officers have spent the afternoon going door to door along Ranfurly Road in Portadown. They've been talking to residents, gathering information in an attempt to work out what exactly happened in the run-up to a murder that happened at this house overnight. Police say they received a call at around 11 o'clock last night reporting that a man had been injured in a dispute at the house. Officers and ambulance crews arrived a short time later. However, the man, who was in his 40s, died at the scene. One local councillor said the residents of the usually quiet neighbourhood had been shocked when they awoke to the news this morning.
This is a close-knit community. There's a lot of elderly people living here, a lot of younger families, people living on their own. This news, this is obviously a tragedy. This has unnerved a lot of people here this morning. It's come as a shock. It's completely out of character.
Two men, both in their 50s, have been arrested on suspicion of murder and are currently being questioned by detectives. The police are appealing for any information, in particular dashcam or doorbell footage, that may help with their inquiries. Ita Dungan, BBC Newsline in Portadown.
A man's been charged with the murder of mother of two Amy Doherty in Derry last weekend. He's appeared in court also accused of having drugs and a knife. Here's our North West reporter Kieran Turish.
28-year-old Amy Doherty was found badly injured at her home at Summer Meadows Mews in the Waterside at 10:20 last Saturday morning. She was taken to hospital but died a short time later. 30-year-old Conor McNamee, a welder of Meehan's Terrace in Derry, appeared in court charged with her murder. The offence was said to be aggravated by domestic abuse. He's also accused of possessing an offensive weapon, namely a kitchen knife, and having Class A drugs.
Conor McNamee appeared via video link in a wheelchair with visible bruising to his face. He spoke only once to confirm that he understood the charges. A detective told the court he believed he could connect them to the offences. A defence solicitor said there would be no application for bail. He said the case involved the tragic death of a mother of two young children. He would be requesting a psychiatric report for his client. The district judge, Una Mullen, conveyed her condolences to the family and friends of Amy Doherty. The accused was remanded in custody until April the 23rd. Kieran Turish, BBC Newsline, Londonderry Magistrates Court.
Well, meanwhile, and within the hour, in fact, a vigil will be held in Derry in memory of Amy Doherty. And to highlight the concerns about violence against women and girls in Northern Ireland, we'll cross there live shortly. There's huge relief tonight among parents of children with special educational needs. A U-turn by officials means this year's school summer schemes will now go ahead. The change of heart was confirmed late this afternoon after an outcry from families and also many politicians. Our community correspondent Mark Simpson has been watching the story develop.
The news that the school summer schemes are back on again broke just before 5 p.m. For the families affected, there was a range of emotions.
Tremendous relief, I think, for so many parents who were looking to face a summer of difficulty. So I think relief is the word. I mean, I think lessons can be learned from this, definitely. It shouldn't have really taken the reaction and the public outcry to make this happen. It's caused a lot of anxiety and distress over the last 24 hours for parents and carers.
Completely overwhelmed. A total different sense of the overwhelm that I had yesterday. It just felt like a complete weight lifted off my chest. That's the only way I can describe it. I said yesterday when we got the news that I could hardly breathe without being dramatic. And I just feel that that weight has been lifted today, and total elation about this news this afternoon.
It means that children like Fiona's son Ted, who has autism, will be able to go to a summer scheme this year. So what changed in the past 24 hours? The Education Authority said the Department of Health has now been able to confirm that nursing support will be made available at each special school summer scheme site. This represents a workable solution that will enable special school summer schemes to be held this year. Good news for families, but political questions remain. Do you, as Education Minister, apologise to the families who have had 24 hours of distress?
Well, I've been working to get a resolution on behalf of those families. So, of course, I am sorry that this is what happened over the past 24-hour period. From an education perspective, we were always ready to proceed, but we weren't able to do that unless the appropriate healthcare was being provided for.
More questions will be asked next week at Stormont. The Assembly is being recalled from its Easter break on Tuesday to discuss what went wrong with the summer schemes and how to ensure it doesn't happen again. Mark Simpson, BBC Newsline.
Next to a major development on a story we brought you earlier this week when we heard from the family of Timothy Jones. Timothy has autism and can bite people when he's distressed. But his mother Dawn told us how upsetting it was when officials who were assessing Timothy's needs asked his carer to mimic his behaviour.
Basically, he tries to grab you, to bite you, but they wanted Sophie, the manager, to act it out, which I thought, I can't believe I've just heard that.
Well, that request was made by representatives of a company called Liaison Care. It's not the first time we'd reported on concerns about Liaison Care, but this evening a major update, and our health reporter Aileen Moyna is here. What's happening?
Well, Declan, in short, Liaison Care has been ordered to stop operating in Northern Ireland immediately by Northern Ireland's healthcare regulator, the RQIA, until the concerns raised against them are investigated. Now, Liaison Care, it's a private healthcare company. They're based in England. Its services are commissioned by health trusts here in Northern Ireland with the aim of reducing costs. Now, it states on its website that if they don't make savings, they won't charge. But it's the way in which Liaison Care has been carrying out activities in relation to services being provided to people in trust care that has led to complaints. Complaints which BBC News and I reported on, as you say, from parents such as Dawn and also from Glenn Brown. They have adult sons with severe learning difficulties. They said they were shocked at what was described as the insensitivity shown by Liaison Care staff and said the questions staff asked were not patient-centred. Their testimonies told to the BBC reached the Health Minister, who said he was shocked when he appeared at the Health Committee yesterday. Mike Nesbitt said he too had serious questions about the use of this company that required answers. But today, action has been taken by the RQIA, and here's reaction from one of the other parents about that.
It's a welcome development. It has caused a lot of stress to a lot of families, including myself. We have the RQIA. Their job is oversight and governance of all the facilities, and that they should be properly resourced to do so. You don't bring in people for profit whose boast is, if we don't save money on your review, you don't pay us.
Well, Declan, the RQIA is investigating the nature of the work being carried out by Liaison Care, but the use of this company has led to significant questions. Who commissioned them? Who made that decision? And what investigations were carried out? And just a quick final point, the BBC has approached Liaison Care for comment, but we've yet to get one.
OK, Aileen, thanks for that update this evening. We appreciate it. Next, BBC Newsline can reveal hundreds of children here have been flagged to health trusts after displaying harmful sexualised behaviour, including sexually abusing other children. Our reporter Eve Rosado has been speaking to the mother of one child whose life has been changed forever, she says, after being sexually assaulted by a friend.
My son is experiencing extreme trauma and stress. He feels like his life has changed forever and he'll never be the same again. It's just so unbelievable that this has happened to your child without your knowledge.
That mum wanted to speak to me because she believes peer-on-peer abuse is a big problem, but one that lots of people don't understand. Marcella Leonard, who's an expert in this area, explained to me why we might be seeing more children and young people coming forward.
Sexual abuse is more widely acknowledged and is more widely known. We definitely have more children who are prepared to tell us that something is happening to them today, currently, so that we can be able to work with them to prevent further long-term mental health issues as a result of being a victim. But that also means that the young people who are causing that harm, we can work with them today and not have to wait until they maybe continue that harm into adulthood.
The NSPCC has reported increasing numbers of children contacting them about peer-on-peer abuse, and we know that in the past 2 years, 231 children have been referred to health trusts across Northern Ireland for harmful sexual behaviour. Marcella Leonard says sex education has to be prioritised.
So we need to make sure that sex education is open, it's honest, it's very clear, it gives them guidance, it allows for mistakes, it covers all aspects of it so that children can make informed choices, but that those choices aren't being informed or driven by a religious purpose. If the politicians genuinely had children at heart in relation to trying to help them navigate through life in terms of their sexual behaviours, we would give them good sex education.
The Department of Education told me all children and young people, regardless of gender or faith, continue to have access to and participate in RSE programmes, and teachers have access to resources on a range of sensitive issues, including healthy relationships and consent. The mum who spoke to me believes that more and better education for both children and parents could make a big difference.
Peer-on-peer abuse is something that really needs to be focused on. It's something, as a parent, I never thought to discuss with my children. Whenever I talked to them, it always revolved around adults being inappropriate. I never thought to warn them against their own friends. It's so hard to accept as a parent. You feel responsible that you weren't aware of the danger and that you didn't keep your child safe.
And if you need support or advice with any of the issues in that report, there are details of organisations who can help on the BBC Action Line. Well, as we indicated earlier, a vigil is gathering in Derry in memory of Amy Doherty, who was murdered last weekend. It's one of a number of vigils, in fact, taking place this evening. Let's cross live to Guildhall Square. Catherine Morrison, my colleague, is standing by. Hi, Catherine. I mean, for obvious reasons, the gathering where you are is the main focus.
Yes, Declan, Amy lived in this city. She worked here. She spent 5 years working at Alt McGalvin Hospital and then as a carer. So her death feels very personal. It's a very personal loss for Derry. I've met some of her friends as they're arriving this evening with flowers and balloons at this vigil, and they've talked about what a lovely, wonderful, caring person Amy was. But there's also been anger that this vigil has to be held. The organiser of the vigil has said that they've held many events like this in the past, and yet nothing has changed in terms of high rates of violence against women and girls in Northern Ireland.
We stood on the steps of the Guildhall in 2022 after the death of Aisling Murphy. We stood here in 2024 after the murder of Montserrat Elias, also in the city. And we stand here again tonight in 2026 to mark the loss of Amy Doherty. So this is really difficult. It feels relentless. It's a relentless horror that this is happening, and I really hope that something changes and we don't have to stand here again.
Amy Doherty is the 30th woman to be killed in Northern Ireland since 2020. So as well as the grief here this evening, there will also be calls for change.
Catherine, live in Derry for us. Thank you very much, Catherine Morrison there, and we will of course update you on those vigils on our late bulletin tonight at 10:30. Meanwhile, let's welcome back Stephen from Italy. It was a long way to go, wasn't it, to end in disappointment?
It was, unfortunately, Declan, disappointment for Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland in those World Cup semi-final playoffs. Both defeated. It's going to be a quiet summer instead. We will go to Republic in a moment, but first to Michael O'Neill's young Northern Ireland side. The manager has taken great heart from their performance against the four-time world champions Italy. The match was goalless at half-time and the tie still very much alive before Newcastle United Sandro Tonali broke the deadlock, and then a late goal from Mossy Keane broke Northern Ireland hearts. But for O'Neill, there was no disgrace in the manner of the 2-0 defeat.
I'm very proud of the performance. First of all, the players gave everything. I thought first half, a penalty with the handball as well. And second half, you know, we gave them, you know, huge strides as a team as well.
And Northern Ireland play a friendly against Wales on Tuesday night. I think this picture sums up the Republic of Ireland because there's no World Cup finals for them either this summer. They'd been 2-0 up early in their playoff away to the Czech Republic last night, but eventually ended up losing 4-3 in a penalty shootout. Nicola McCarthy reports.
As our press was working on the ball, we were hurting them. And then the timing of their first goal probably affects it a bit, and it knocks the wind out of you a bit, and they had a lot to fight for second half.
Encourage them and so on, but it's just pain. We all feel just pain now.
And of the World Cup dream in the toughest manner. Nicola McCarthy, BBC Newsline, Prague.
Well, Ulster welcome back to Irish internationals Stuart McCluskey and Nick Timoney into the starting team for tomorrow's game in the United Rugby Championship away to Zebre. Ulster aiming to bounce back from last week's defeat to Connacht, but with Italian rugby on the rise, this will be no easy fixture.
It's brilliant for Italy. Like, I think they've been knocking on the door for a while, and you know, I thought that was probably their best Six Nations ever. So it's good to see. In terms of the URC. The league's just getting tougher and tougher. You know, everyone's stepping up. You know, I believe this is probably the toughest league in the world at the moment. So you could see in the mid-table it's so tight. You know, everyone's kind of 1 or 2 games away from top 2 or bottom 8. So it's, you know, it's pretty tight.
In ice hockey, the Belfast Giants can clinch a record 8th Elite League title tonight if they can beat their nearest rivals, the Nottingham Panthers, at a sold-out SSE arena. But the Giants are taking absolutely nothing for granted.
I think sometimes when you view it like that, you forget about the last 7 months of work that put us in these situations. And so, you know, that was one of the things we did yesterday, was to remind the guys where they've come from and what they've done and the adversity they fought through to get to this stage. And they've done that, so now we want to make sure that we see it through.
In Gaelic Games, it's finals weekend in the Allianz National Football League, but one team already celebrating silverware are Our Lady and St Patrick's College Knock. Take a look at this because they've won the All-Ireland Under-20 Senior Schools Final, beating St Joseph's Spanish Point by 10 points. It's the first time the Belfast school has ever won the final, and the trophy was very proudly paraded back at the school today.
Our team is a huge, fun team. We're such close friends, all of the group, that we have so much fun and we love to mess about and chat at training, that as captain some of the times it was to take the team off and be like, right guys, we got to work hard now and get a good training session because we do love to have fun and giggle.
People in the younger girls in the school have really noticed that with the support of the clubs here in Belfast, our clubs are very strong, and I think that they see we didn't used to train as hard as we did this year, and I think when we realised what we could actually do, when we started training harder and more frequently, that we had so much potential, but to be able to play to that was just really impressive. So yeah, hopefully the younger girls see that hard work does pay off.
Yeah, well done. Looks like a great day at the school. Finally, tonight, motorcycling, Jonathan Ray returns to the World Superbikes this weekend. He retired from full-time racing last season, but he's been called up by the Honda team, who he is a test rider for. That's the sport tonight. All the local football, Declan, you can follow tomorrow on the website and on Radio Ulster.
Great, Stephen, thank you very much. Now, do not let the bright skies over Castle Rock fool you. That would have been cold there today. And Barra's here, colder than it should be this time of year.
Yeah, the wind's really taking the edge off the temperatures. No big change this weekend, I'm afraid, if you're heading out and about. On one hand, it'll be the sunglasses. The other hand will be the umbrella, I'm afraid. It's a case of dodging those showers again tonight. Temperatures widely falling close to freezing, so we're going to increasingly see sleet and snow, especially over the hills in the mountains, the Sperrins, the Antrim Hills, for example. Low-level areas seeing maybe a mix of rain and sleet, but generally rain. But a cold start to the day tomorrow and a fairly unsettled day. This time the wind's picking up, so those showers quite blustery as well as they begin to come in from the west. They'll be out there from the beginning of the day. They will continue. The northwesterly winds then develop, so if you're out and about towards the north coast, those winds are going to feel colder. Temperatures around 8 or 9 degrees. Now, if you're travelling further south towards the southwest, drier here, 10 or 11 degrees. Some sunshine, but it looks as though the bulk of the showers will be across much of Northern Ireland through the afternoon. Hit and miss, there will be sunshine in between. Temperatures, well, maybe 9 or 10 degrees at best. The showers then continue for a while tomorrow evening before the winds change to a more southwesterly direction, but that wind is also signalling another change. More rain heading our way tomorrow night as a weather front pushes in, southwesterly winds. It won't be quite as cold as a result. The good news, I suppose, tomorrow night is, for some of us at least, the clocks go forward, so we will have longer evenings on Sunday, but it is going to be a wet start to the day on Sunday. Here's that rain and the wind. You can see it pushing eastwards. The good news is it's set to brighten up from the west later on in the day, but the wind's still making it feel on the cold side. So here it is, the blue across the map first thing on Sunday morning. The rain then clears. Westerly winds driving in a few scattered showers, fairly hit and miss. Temperatures though up a little bit milder, 12 or maybe 13 degrees. And then sunset there you can see for some closer to 8 o'clock at night on Sunday. So some sunshine into late evening. Into next week, it's not too bad a setup. At times a little bit unsettled with a few showers, some sunshine, but also turning milder. Temperatures reaching around 13 or 14 degrees by Tuesday and into Wednesday.
The stretch in the evening is welcome. Barra, thank you very much. That's it from BBC Newsline this evening and indeed for this week. Thanks as ever for watching. I hope you have something nice planned for the weekend. We will see you back here Monday, 6:30. Remember the change in the clocks. Bye-bye.